Hey peeps, hey family, hey friends, how you going? Alright, so today, whew, I don't know how I missed this one actually. How are we? How is life? How's things going? I hope everyone's good. Um, so yeah, on the 7th of February, I think it was, this story came out. So as I said, I'm a little bit behind. Sorry, that's my dog. He's got a cone on his head. He's making noise right now. I might cut that out if I have time. So Geelong Grammar, which is one of the most expensive schools in Victoria, in Melbourne, a father has taken his daughter out of school, pulled his daughter out of school because they have decided to allow a biological male in the dorm rooms, at the boarding school. Like I said, it was a $75,000 a year school, very expensive school. I don't know how this is. I actually heard of this happening in America. Boarding school one story and the sorority story as well. And I think the sorority story was a bit more because they did try and kick the person out, and I think he was like pushing to come back or suing them or doing something. I'll get into that story another time, but for this one right now, I will read you out, or actually let me play the clip from Sky News. I actually haven't watched it. I just found out about this story from Binary.org. So they sent me an email and then, the information came through there. But this disturbs me to the deepest core. Like, all right, now I'm looking at having my nephew come to Australia to go to boarding school and then to go into this nonsense? No, man, not happening. Not happening. I'm not doing that. Because ideally, look, at the end of the day, this is a biological male. You put it into an all-female space. That's only meant to be female bodies, all that. So a person walking in with a penis is not supposed to be in that space for our children. And, all of this nonsense, again, I'm just going to say it, it should not be in the schools, first of all. Like, we should not be focusing on, there shouldn't be any LGBT flags in the schools. We should not be focusing on any of that. I wouldn't want to be focusing on straight people and their sex and what they're doing either. So it's no shade, it's no, it's no dig at anyone, at any sexual preference or life choices. There's a time and place for everything. School is not the place and not the time. From teachers, gross. If teachers are, I've seen so many TikToks or whatever, and it's just narcissists. It's just like big egos. I'm not even saying narcissists because that word gets overused, but it's people with egos that's like, look at me, want to be, School is not the place, man. The school is for education. Like, just keep it simple. If you can't do that as a teacher, get stepping. And this thing, like, where does it end? Once you let one boy into the spaces, I identify as a female. I mean, what's to say, Mr. Kinky over there is not just going to say the same thing to get in there, or Mr. Sexual Predator. This is making female spaces unsafe. It's not a female space. If you let a boy in there, it's not a female space. I feel like if people are going through this transition thing as a child, there's some things that are going to have to be exempt and waived. Like, you're going to have to live knowing that you just can't enter those spaces yet. It's not appropriate and it's not practical. And all the adults that are allowing this to happen, shame on you. It's disgusting. All right. That being said, let me put the article on so you can see it for yourself, and then, that's it.
An exclusive school in Victoria, part of Geelong Grammar. $84,000 a year, by the way, to send your kid to Timbertop. They have a transgender student, so changing from boy to girl.
Yep.
Boy to girl. This girl/boy has been put into a girls' dorm. So they're a boarder at Timbertop. The parents of the other girls in this dorm were not told that their child would be sleeping in the same room as a biological male. One father, when he found out, went so far as to get in his car, drive to Victoria, pick up his daughter and take her home because he was so outraged that he hadn't been alerted to this. There are two problems. One is that the school thinks it's okay to put someone with a penis in a room full of girls. I mean, there's an obvious reason that you have gender segregation when students are boarding. Two, the fact that they hid it from parents, that parents only found out because their children said to them, hang on a minute, there's a bloke in my dormitory room, is a disgrace. The school said, we believe a co-educational, inclusive boarding community will enable our students to live as confident and resilient young adults, strengthened in their capacity to develop meaningful relationships and well prepared for life beyond school. Whilst we cannot comment on specific students or circumstances, we can say that we are very open about being an inclusive community in supporting all of our students, including those identifying as LGBTQI+, so they are heard, respected and kept safe in our care.
The usual word salad.
Isn't that great to hear? But surely you've got a problem when you're putting a biological male sleeping in the same room as a bunch of biological females.
What I couldn't believe was the Herald Sun reported this father going to, and I quote, extreme lengths. Like this was an extreme act for the dad to go and get his daughter and say, you're not sleeping in that dorm. The dad's not he's the normal one. Extreme
100%.
is allowing students to choose their own gender, as Geelong Grammar apparently do. Extreme is not informing parents that your daughters will have a male in the dorm sleeping with them. Extreme is prioritising in your inclusion policy the safety and comfort of LGBTQ students while not caring at all for the safety and comfort of everybody else. The dad is put in that position because people like the South Australian Premier and other Labor politicians and the Greens, let's not leave them out, won't act on this. And so it's left to parents to have to, I guess parents should anyway, but you wouldn't think a dad would have to drive all that way having just found out this is the situation my daughter has been allowed to be placed in.
Any good dad would do the same. I mean, we've seen instances of women falling pregnant in all-women jails because there was a few trans women in the mix. And it turned out maybe they'd rechanged their mind while they were behind bars. But I think the whole ploy of this, right, because it's not just Geelong who have done this. We've seen this done in the UK as well. And schools do it in different ways and just spew out that same word salad, we're inclusive. I think the idea here is, well, why would we bother mentioning it? It's perfectly normal. It's so normal, in fact, it barely warrants a mention, doesn't it? In fact, you're the weird one for having a problem with something so perfectly normal.
Yeah.
That is the drive behind all this. So the school is just like, oh, no egg on our face. I wasn't aware that you had a problem with inclusivity.
That's exactly what's going on.
All right, so there you go. So that was the story. I think I made a mistake before when I said it was in America. It was UK that I had heard the story before about the male going into female dorms. That was being allowed, like it's just nothing and normal. So, I mean, you know, I might be overreacting. Tell me if you think I am. But I feel very firmly about this. And I would love it if every parent of the female student took their girl out of that school. For a school that costs so much money, it would make a big difference to them not to have the students there, to disregard all the female students over one male who's going through something. Not okay. So that's my 2 cents with it all. Yes. And wait for the next one. There is, I've got another story, but I want to show the footage with it. And it's a basketball game a male was playing in America. I'll just give you the quick rundown because it's hot, like it's hot off the press as well. And yeah, three of the athletes, 3 of the team players were injured by one male, and it was quite forceful. One couldn't get up; she had such a bad back injury and the guy, it was gross. Anyway, and they actually cancelled and forfeited the game out of fear because they wouldn't be able to play in the playoffs due to injury. So that's not something that you hear ever happening in basketball. So that's the next story coming up. All right, until then, take care. Bye.